Tonight on Unreal Estate, we're checking out Australia's most remote and extraordinary off-the-grid homes.
This is a great day, not for the oysters.
The $20 million mansion, so secluded, the paparazzi couldn't find it.
Lady Gaga stayed here a few years ago.
A tropical island that became an inspiring family home.
You couldn't have wished for a better spot to have a crack at being Robinson Crusoe.
And the Queensland hideaway making a seriously big claim.
We believe this is Australia's best beach house.
Prove it. Don't you just love it out here?
You know what I'd really like to do, though? Just get right off grid.
I didn't pick you for a tree changer.
No, like Bear Grylls.
Well, you want to sleep in a camel carcass?
Only if it's dead.
I'd like to be just a little bit off the grid.
How does that work?
Ah.
The Whitsundays on the Great Barrier Reef is the perfect place to get yourself a beach house.
That is phenomenal.
45 minutes from Airlie Beach and in a secluded pocket of the mainland is a place called Hideaway Bay, where my hosts Ian and Sissy Bishop have invited me to experience living off the grid in total comfort.
Ian's a retired engineer who now travels the world buying properties because he can. He also fancies himself as a bit of a James Bond type, which I'm assuming means because he's an adventurer. Oh, we're going to land right on the beach.
So Ian told me to meet him on the beach. I'm quite confident this is the beach, but I can't see Ian.
Ian and Sissy's beach hideaway sits on 30 hectares of prime waterfront real estate and is an extreme update on a typical Queenslander.
Hello. How's the paradise?
Absolutely gorgeous. Hi.
Fine.
We're very lucky.
So, Sissy, we have to have a toast.
Cheers.
And I also have to ask, where is Ian?
Well, I think he's out in that direction somewhere.
Is he lost on the reef?
I hope not. I hope not.
Oh, there he is. Of course, James Bond has to arrive on some sort of apparatus.
Well, he's my toy boy. 70 yesterday.
Wow. Does anyone worry at any stage?
I worry about him.
You do
when he
you?
goes off in his aeroplane and parachuting and all that sort of thing.
Oh, well.
You must be Kate.
Yes,
Very pleased to meet you.
How's your low-key arrival on the jet ski?
Terrible life, isn't it?
Oh,
Someone's got to do it, though, you know.
You must have been very, very bad in your past life to be punished like this.
Yeah, I was.
What
Yeah.
did you do in this life
In
to
this
get
life,
this?
I'm a mechanical engineer. I've been very lucky.
Ian's an adrenaline junkie who has done everything from high-altitude air ballooning to base jumping. But he says he now prefers to stay closer to home. I mean, I would too if home was this paradise.
We believe this is Australia's best beach house.
That is audacious. Prove it.
Certainly.
This 1,500 square metre home is L-shaped with verandas on two sides, so you get a view of the ocean from every room. There's a second living room downstairs and a cyclone shelter, which sounds pretty scary but practical. And, of course, there's a gym and a home cinema, which might come in handy in the cyclone. The front deck is made for relaxing with a pool and a spa. There's even a tennis court, a seaplane for island hopping, and a two-bedroom caretaker's cottage for the staff, so you don't have to lift a finger. And the whole lot is powered by solar panels on the roof.
It's a very classic beach house to have wood.
Yes, I like woodwork. Wood's such a natural product and it's relaxing.
Apparently there are 3 types of timber here: spotted gum, quilla and cedar, which is on all these vaulted ceilings.
Here is the master bedroom.
Oh, it's on the beach.
Yeah, you wake up to this every morning.
Yeah, that's beautiful. But isn't that very bright? Is the skylight
Sometimes with the moon, yes, but you can see the stars. Double spa there, and the bath for a single bath. And I love this shower. It's so big.
Oh, it's a rain shower. Turn it on. Turn it on. And I can still get a little glimpse of the ocean from here.
Yeah.
Okay, I approve.
Good, I'm pleased you approve.
Yes, yes.
Despite its size, there's nothing overtly flashy about this classic seaside home. Its charm is more in the laid-back, comfortable feel of it and, of course, the superb location. I'll be back to see if Heaven's Gate really is the best beach house that money can buy.
My quest for off-the-grid living is taking me to a remote corner of Western Australia. 36 k's outside of Albany and overlooking the Southern Ocean is Maitreya. Perth vet and businessman Rick Fenny owns a luxury retreat on this incredible stretch of rugged coastline. Rick's house is so isolated that even Lady Gaga managed to dodge the paps when she stayed here for a couple of days. Yeah, it's tough at the top.
Welcome to Maitreya.
Thank you. What does that actually mean?
It's a place of loving kindness.
This is so beautiful. Epic coastline coming in with the helicopter there. I mean,
Nothing but ocean out there. There's no cars, there's no houses, there's nothing else except the feel of the wind and the
wind through the trees there, the ocean I can hear as well.
You're looking relaxed already.
I feel it.
That's the beauty of it. Maitreya is a feeling. It's more than a destination, it's a feeling.
Built in the 1980s, Maitreya is a contemporary homestead that sits on 222 hectares of land. This massive sandstone house has totally unspoiled views of the ocean on 3 sides and borders a national park. It's also fantastically self-sufficient with its own airstrip, freshwater lake and small cattle farm. Geez, it's big.
It's a big house, all right. It's 2,734 square metres. That's including the verandas and the pool and the conservatory.
Mine's 92 square metres, so
oh, well,
it's about this veranda. That's it.
You're welcome.
Wow. Rick calls Maitreya his spiritual home, but it also doubles as an exceptional secluded retreat. Lady Gaga forked out more than $4 grand a night to stay here, and it's easy to see why. The 8 ensuite bedrooms, heritage-style formal dining room, meeting room, and 2 living rooms all face the ocean. There's also an indoor heated swimming pool, a gym, and a 20-seat theatre. Right in the centre of the house is a cathedral-like atrium covered with 125 square metres of glass. And it's pretty awesome. It's like a tropical oasis, isn't it?
Yeah. We call it the lungs of Maitreya because it helps the whole place breathe. There's these 4 domes you see over there.
Oh, yeah? What do they do?
They actually take in this clean ocean air, comes in under the foundations, which heats up under this lovely glass roof. And then in the wintertime, you can open up these big double doors and the warmth floods through the house. In the summertime, you do the opposite. You close these doors and the air goes out through those little windows in each corner up there.
So it's like an eco-friendly air conditioner?
Very eco-friendly, yeah. We love the whole idea of eco-friendly. We catch an awful lot of rainwater, so the whole place is run on rainwater.
Have you got solar power as well?
We've got solar power there as well. We're almost completely independent. The guy who designed this place thought, hey, we need something that's sustainable, and I always liked the idea of that sort of thing.
So who designed the place?
The place was designed by Paul and Joan Terry, and I've tried to maintain it.
So how did you acquire it?
Paul was tragically killed in 1993.
Right.
And then about 9 years ago, Joan Terry approached me and said, Rick, you should have Maitreya. I said, Joan, I can't afford Maitreya. She said, yes, you can. It needs you. Maitreya has chosen you, because I believe Maitreya does choose who owns it.
Do you? How do you know the house chooses you?
It's just a feeling, I suppose, and just a part of the spirituality of the place.
I'm getting a vibe.
Yeah, well, that's
You
good.
can hand it over if you like.
Yeah,
I think it's choosing me.
Yeah, well, you come up with the money as well as the...
What am I looking at? What am I looking at?
Oh, anything over 20.
Oh, just a pinch. Easy. According to Rick, Maitreya has one of the most romantic bedrooms in Australia. Even Lady Gaga can vouch for it. I'll be checking that out later on.
Next, the tiny house that's big on imagination.
I think the magic is you can look out for miles and not see buildings, no people, just wilderness.
And does that open or something? A master suite fit for a superstar. That's epic.
And later, the ingenious mountain retreat where the horses have bedrooms.
We lived right up there directly above the horses.
This Queenslander-style beach house at Hideaway Bay was built by British expats Ian and Sissy Bishop. Ian reckons it's the best beach house in Australia. Now that is a very big call. But so far it's definitely living up to its name, Heaven's Gate.
It's not very often you go, oh, that's a lovely door, but the doors are beautiful.
The builder was so fanatical about detail, he couldn't find a manufacturer to produce the quality he wanted. So he had all 46 doors handmade on site. Took a carpenter months.
Because the humidity here is pretty brutal, they used Quilla to make these beautiful doors. Ian says Quilla comes from Southeast Asia and it's a super hardwood that doesn't warp. Queenslanders take note. Upstairs, there are 3 more bedrooms with en-suites, which all have views of the beach. And if you get tired of staring at all that beauty, you can always go downstairs.
The stairs are spotted gum. It's one of my favourite parts of the house.
And is this your other?
This is Sissy, 20 years ago. Maybe.
Oh, you know what? I believe that could be based on your wife now, my friend.
This is for when we get older in our wheelchair.
I'll forget older. If I had a lift, I would be in the lift all the time. In fact, I'm getting in it now.
Right, I'll show you into our cyclone shelter.
The cyclone shelter?
Yeah, we're in the tropics, so you
Of
get cyclones.
course, right.
So we call it the cave.
Right.
It's steel lined.
Oh, it's like a bunker.
While this might look like a cosy room for the grandkids, it actually has steel reinforced ceilings and walls to withstand 290 km/h winds.
This is the media room.
Media.
Yes. Bar.
Check.
Check. Card table.
Check. 500?
Indeed, yes.
Yes, I love 500.
Cinema.
And a rather small screen.
Yes. And here we are back at the beach.
All right, I'm going to call it, Ian. I'm going to call it best beach house in Australia.
Thank you.
And what makes this even better is that there are fresh oysters to be had right on the doorstep. I might have to sample 1 or 2 dozen.
Maitreya, on the south coast of Western Australia, is a secluded luxury retreat that's off the grid. Originally built as a colossal family homestead by a close friend of Rick's, the house has a warm, friendly vibe. It's got to be the widest hallway I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, you can drive a golf cart around here if you need to, yeah.
I love the clever design that has all the rooms running along the outside of the house around the central atrium, which means nobody misses out on the view. Even the bathrooms overlook the ocean, with the master bedroom in prime position. Oh, it's just not big enough, Rick. At 45 square metres, it's one of the largest rooms in the house. It's got 2-metre floor-to-ceiling windows and French doors opening onto a covered veranda. Very old-school Aussie design, but on a grand scale.
We also call it the Gaga room. Lady Gaga stayed here a few years ago.
She slept right here on this bed that I'm sitting on now.
She was in between concerts, between a Brisbane concert and a Perth concert, and spent a few days here.
It's a huge view, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very special out there, and you see things happening. You see the whales come in to this little bay, plus the birds.
And does that open or something?
Have a look at this.
Oh, that is...
Pretty spectacular.
That's epic. You could just imagine lying under the stars. I mean, you've got no city lights or anything at all. The stars up here must be insane.
Yeah, you get lovely stars and moons. When there's a full moon, she comes right over the top here.
Huge.
Oh, the whole world comes in now.
I'll tell you what.
And,
that's quite the romantic view at night, I can imagine.
yeah, it's a very romantic room to be in.
Yeah.
Plenty of lovers have come here, and plenty of weddings have happened here, and it has a whole feeling. We like the whole idea of love and romance in this room. It goes with the whole spiritual feeling of Maitreya.
Maitreya is massive compared to Jason McDonald's tiny, but ingenious eco-friendly retreat in New South Wales Central West, 60 k's outside of Mudgee.
I always had in my head I wanted to build something small, just having what you need. It's more that connection with the landscape rather than building a huge house. So I approached an architect and they come up with this design. The cabin walls winch open to become awnings. When they're closed, it protects the cabin from the elements, the wind, the rain, and also bushfires. When they're open, it's like living in a glass box. The weather's constantly changing. It's almost like you're part of the landscape and everything's happening around you. This is the ritual I go through when I arrive at the cabin. Everything's stowed away, so when I arrive, I empty out the table, the chairs and the daybeds. Most of the time is spent living around the cabin rather than inside to make the most of the outdoors. The cabin's built with the recycled ironbark frame and it's clad with copper on the outside. The design is all about getting back to basics. It's a really minimal kitchen. Got the running water from the tank, portable sink, got a small gas burner, and storage for all the cooking equipment. This is the sleeping loft. The windows are set low, so when you're in bed, you can look out at the views. The heating's through a wood stove, so it's really toasty and warm. There's no electricity, so the temperature is controlled through cross ventilation. The louvers open up to let the cool breeze through.
With a 9 square metre footprint, Jason's retreat is part of the latest little house trend. Architect Rob Casey has won a number of awards for his unique and elegant design.
It's like a piece of furniture. All the timber's perfectly finished. It's really easy to live in. I think the magic is you can look out for miles and not see buildings, no people, just wilderness.
Next, a magnificent Australian home with built-in stables.
When they started building it, I still didn't like it. This looks like a jail.
And later,
Oh, I am home.
Australia's own Swiss Family Robinson.
Where are you sleeping while this is all happening?
Under that tree.
Vet and businessman Rick Fenny forked out over $500,000 transforming a remarkable private home into an off-the-grid luxury retreat. Maitreya's remote clifftop location is the perfect place to relax and live off the land, or do business in style.
This is the boardroom, and a lot of people think, gee, you don't get much work done in here.
Who comes here anyway to do work? I would have thought you'd be here just to relax.
Well, I bring my group down from my vet practices to have staff meetings here, and
Only half days.
well, we can actually close these curtains to cut off the view.
You don't?
Yeah.
You close it off and go,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
let's get down to
That's it.
business.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
The meeting room also has a nod to Rick's past and his relationship to a very special Aussie film star, which just happens to be a larrikin dog. Oh, you've got this, right, the red dog. So that's the red dog, that's the real one?
That's the real red dog, and that's the original collar that he wore. And the next dog to wear it was the dog Coco, who played him in the movie Red Dog.
Down. Bad dog.
You'll never get him out of there, miss.
How are you all linked up to this story?
Oh, I've always been involved with Red Dog when I was working in the 70s and 80s in Karratha. And I knew him personally, and it was just natural that the producer, Nelson here, involved me in that movie.
There's a character in it that is you.
Well, it is, yeah. It's supposed to be me.
It is you.
The only thing original is the shorts and long socks that we used to wear.
There they are. Look at those.
Yeah, that's
shorts
it.
and socks.
Yeah,
boom.
Well, aren't you a charmer, huh?
So you just use this thing all the time to get around the property?
Yeah, it's a great little thing.
Hidden around the property are some incredible sculptures, all with spiritual meanings.
There's a lovely little statue here.
Like this towering 12-ton sandstone piece, which took local artist Jan Shaw nearly a year to sculpt right on the spot. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a ripper. I'm really starting to get into the spirit of Maitreya, and it's easy to chill out here with even more incredible views and a quiet beer sitting beside their 13-metre indoor pool. This is a bit of all right, isn't it? It's like the size of an aquatic centre without the sound of screaming kids.
This is actually my favourite room in the house. It's heated all the time. It's very warm in here. It's beautiful. It runs off the solar.
And the spa is a work of art, literally. You've got some pretty interesting tiles there. What's that?
Yeah, that's actually a John Olsen original, one of Australia's foremost artists.
Okay.
This was a tile painting. All those tiles were individually painted in Sydney and then sent across here and then put in place one by him and his wife.
They came out and did it?
Yeah, they were here.
It's part of the job.
Part of the job, but they apparently had a few wines while they're doing it, and it was a labour of love.
In a place as isolated as this, the night sky is unbelievably endless. And it seems even Lady Gaga hooked into the spirit of this incredible place. Thank you so much for the freedom and the beauty of this estate. You are very special. I'm leaving rested, happy and inspired. Love and art. Lady Gaga. Nice.
We did hear that she got up in the middle of the night and she goes and wakes up the sound people and says, quick, quick, I want to put some songs down.
Yeah.
She came in here and put 2 or 3 songs down.
We should Google and see if there's a song called Maitreya.
You never know.
You never know. Crackenback, in the snowy mountains of New South Wales, is the location of a pretty bizarre off-the-grid retreat. Owners John Fielding and Sherry Sasgis are so mad about horses that they built their dream house right on top of the stables. As you do.
I've always wanted a horse paddock, but I never intended it to be this elaborate.
Yes, you do.
I wanted the horses to be really close so that when you wanted to go riding, you just walked down the stairs, saddled up and away you went. We live right up there directly above the horses. We do smell them, but horses, to me, have got a nice smell anyway.
When I first saw the initial drawing, I thought, nah. When they started building it, I still didn't like it at that point. It was grey and dull, and I kept telling me, this looks like a jail. When the interior of the loft came into play, when the cubby holes came in and the beautiful concrete counter, and when the interior was actually almost to completion, that's when I started to really like it. I could see that what John was creating was a real thing of beauty.
Most of the building is galvanised steel. At the moment, it's quite shiny, and over the years, it'll weather to a beautiful grey, and it'll just blend in with the natural Australian bushland around. And to me, it looks good.
I love waking up in the morning and seen the horses there and having them close by.
This house is extremely economical to run. In winter, all the heating comes from our wood-burning furnace. Water is rainwater or bore water, which costs nothing. Beautiful to drink.
I was a bit embarrassed at first because I thought it was too much and I felt like I didn't deserve something so nice. There's no amount of money in the world. If anybody came up and offered us copious amounts of money, it would not replace what we have here.
Ian and Sissy Bishop's secluded Whitsundays estate on the Coral Sea is called Heaven's Gate. And for good reason. This place is a tropical paradise.
Look, there's Cam.
Of course, Cam couldn't resist seeing Australia's best beach house for himself.
Oh, Cam!
Hello. What have you got there?
Oh, maybe I'll frighten him off.
Just a couple of coconuts.
A little welcoming present.
It's a great welcoming committee.
And I have, I believe, the owner of Australia's best beach house. What do you reckon?
Oh.
Whoa! Yes! Hang on, can you just notice?
I have. You've got a lovely...
I've got a lovely
set of coconuts.
Thank you. Thank
But before I get off to see the house...
you. Don't you worry about me. Catch!
Oh. Ian's going to show me one of his favourite toys.
Oh, well caught.
This seaplane is housed in its very own 210 square metre hangar. And Ian and Sissy use it to escape from Heaven's Gate and go island hopping.
This is my life's joy. 7 years ago, Cam, I had this childish dream of landing on the water, driving towards the beach, up the beach into my hangar. So this was all woodland here, so I cleared this woodland.
OK.
I built the hangar, single-handed, just to boast.
On your own?
Yep. Imported the fuselage from Brazil and put the engine and the instruments and all that stuff in. The beauty of a seaplane is you can land anywhere.
Have you just got in this and then just cruised out and found a completely deserted island?
There's hundreds of deserted beaches out there. It's lovely. It's a magical experience.
Is there enough room for a picnic hamper and a couple of bottles of champagne in the back there?
Definitely, yeah.
This is ideal. I want to get me one of these. How much am I looking at if I wanted to put these together?
About 200,000.
Yeah, I reckon that's going to happen. Coming up, the Aussie family toughing it out on a remote island.
I was missing my mates and a cappuccino badly.
And the greatest thing about Australia's best beach house.
His name's Pinchy.
Now that you've given him a name, it's going to make me really sad when I eat him.
It takes a lot of work to maintain a secluded off-the-grid beach house like Heaven's Gate in the Whitsundays. So caretakers Aidan and Robin Gorley live in yet another family-sized two-bedroom house on the estate with their 2 kids. They look after the grounds, the house and the boats. And if you ask nicely, Aidan will even arrange to catch some dinner. What, you're like a bush butler, aren't you?
Oh,
A little bit?
I wouldn't say a butler. Butler's got to wear tux and white shirts.
Well, I said bush at the front.
Yeah, bush.
You're a bit...
Well, as long as I can wear me a Kubra, yeah, I'm right. I'm a better cook than a butler.
All right. What are we going to catch?
Well, I reckon we go and have a look for a crate.
I'm not convinced Cam's fishing expedition will bring back any dinner, so I need to have a plan B.
Hello, I'm Kate.
Hi, how you going? My name's Robin. This is Kalani.
Hello, Kalani.
This is
oh,
Ruby.
my goodness. Please tell me it's a stick. It's a snake, isn't it? You know, I've heard a rumour, Kalani, that you've got oysters. Is that true?
Yeah.
The caretaker's kids, Ruby and Kalani, are experts at plucking oysters straight from the reef right in front of their house. Now that's my idea of heaven.
Kalani?
Yeah.
You have to show me how to do this because I've never got an oyster out of the water before.
So we've got to find the oyster first.
Yep, till you feel it going in.
Oh, yes! OMG. It's an actual oyster. Do I have to cut it off? Oh, no, it just comes off. Yep, okay, ready? Oh, that's delicious. This is a great day, not for the oysters, but for everybody else. All right, this is the last one for me, and then I promise I'll take one back for Cam.
What could be better than having your own private beach house in an unbelievable location and where an afternoon on the beach ends in a huge haul of shellfish?
Looky here what I have got. Some freshly shucked oysters.
Oh, yeah. Well, I see your oysters and I raise you a crayfish. His name's Pinchy. So.
Oh, well, now that you've given him a name, it's going to make me really sad when I eat him.
We've got a couple of crabs as well. That's Itchy and Scratchy.
Stop giving things names.
If you love sun, sand and seafood, as Ian and Sissy clearly do, this is most definitely the place to be. And Heaven's Gate is only their winter home.
Sissy mentioned before that you've got another place in Queenstown in New Zealand.
How many houses are there altogether
Oh, no,
in your...
no, it's not. No, it's only
This
got
is
3.
it. Have you? Just only? Just...
Reefside.
Oh, sorry. Oh, they've lost track.
4.
By the time that we will have left the kitchen bench, we'll be up to like 10. Just say because you've got 4 houses and you're so burdened by the management of the properties and you decide to divest yourself of one, namely this one.
Yes.
Ballpark, what would Cam and I need to make an offer?
6 million.
Just a little out of my league. But for a man with a decent property portfolio, Ian still likes to get his hands dirty. Mate, what's going on? When you said we were going to get drinks, I thought we were going to go to the cellar.
No, out in the wilds here. Coconut, and we'll put some alcohol with it.
Oh! Here we are.
Oh, you've got
something I prepared earlier.
The fruit of our labour.
Oh, you did that?
Yes, it took about 20 coconuts, but we
Oh,
got there in the
did
end.
it?
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers with
Thank you
coconuts.
very much.
Here's to paradise,
Yes, indeed.
and here's to heaven, Heaven's Gate.
And how fortunate we are.
Thank you for opening it for us.
You're welcome.
This is great.
And it's all come from just there.
It is.
Next,
How much further, mate?
Not far.
the family of castaways who put down roots on a tropical island.
Oh, yes. Is that it?
That's it. It's our rough little shack in the bush.
I love it. The Great Barrier Reef, 600 kilometres north of Cairns, is in one of the most remote corners of the country. It's a fair old schlep to get to Haggerstone Island, which is home to a very adventurous family. They've built their dream house in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not quite there yet. I've caught 3 planes to get here, and I'm not even close. I've got one more boat trip before I get to meet the custodians of Haggerstone Island. Australia's very own Swiss family Robinson, Roy and Anna Turner, have lived on Haggerstone for the past 30 years, and I want to see how they've managed to raise a family, all whilst living off the land. Hey! How you going?
Great, thank you.
Sam?
How are you?
Yeah, great to meet
Hi,
you.
Cam, Roy.
Hey, Roy, how are you? Look at you two magnificent guys. Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2. I'll tell you what, I can't wait to see you play. So it looked beautiful flying over. How much further, mate?
Not far.
Haggerstone is the ultimate fantasy island. 42 hectares of virgin jungle surrounded by clear water and coral gardens. The 4 private guest houses, main building and family home are all scattered along the beach. Oh, yes. Is that it?
That's it. It's our rough little shack in the bush.
I love it. This is extreme off-the-grid living, and to do it, Roy and his wife Anna have created a gorgeous, self-sustaining paradise. Oh, I am home. Oh, look at this, it's massive. The open-plan 2-storey Balinese-style hut was the first structure that Roy and Anna built. Designed by Roy using environmentally friendly wood for the frame and flooring. And for the roof, a traditional Balinese grass weave. Inside is a lounge, bar, open-plan kitchen dining area and loft. All handcrafted from local hardwoods, as are the beautiful Daintree teak floorboards and most of the furniture. Who built this?
Well, 30 years ago we arrived here and we
Landed a barge on the beach.
Right.
We had about 3 days to offload the barge because we had a big spring tides.
Yeah.
jungle everywhere.
Where do you start? What's the first thing you do?
Dig a hole and put the biggest pole in where the stairway is.
Right, that one there.
Then dig another hole and put that pole in. And then you've got that big beam. That was the first thing we did. That's the hardest thing.
Yeah, how'd you get the poles up?
We had people with just ropes, had an old tractor and had a tripod. And then we pull over the tripod and we lifted the pole up.
God, and how long did it take?
It took 2 weeks to put
2 weeks.
all the poles, the entire roofing, all the rafters, and all the roof covering on.
Right.
That's about the only timing that I remember with it.
Where are you sleeping while this is all happening?
Under that tree.
Anywhere we could find a private spot.
Really? It took another 6 years to complete this 320 square metre structure. And I can understand why. The heat is brutal. Was there any times when you just thought, oh, that's it, I've had it with this?
I remember you in tears down the beach once when the rain came in the wrong way.
I was missing my mates and a cappuccino badly.
But this adventurous couple stuck it out, and the result is inspiring. So much of the natural environment is reflected in the design of this house. Have a look at this guy. I was right with the Crocodile Dundee reference when you picked me up, wasn't I?
Yeah.
How big's that bad boy?
16 foot. But the head on the bar is from an 18.5-footer.
Will you get crocs out here?
Yeah, we had one stealing ducks, but we only get occasionally terribly small crocodiles would come out to this island.
Okay.
And they won't stay very long.
This is not considered a terribly
No,
small
he's not
one.
a small
Okay, so
crocodile.
we're safe.
Yeah.
All right.
We started off up here.
You slept up here with your son, did you?
When Sam was born, he lived up here. There you go.
The stairway to heaven.
That's what you call it. I tell you, it feels like you haven't finished it, mate. There's no walls here.
Coolness. It's like a big tree. You imagine walking under a tree and how cool it is, because the air just moves freely through it. So we've tried to stick with that with all the buildings.
Roy and Anna no longer live here in the main hut. It's now used for guest accommodation with 4 other tropical-style huts. And I'll be staying in the most elaborate one of all. Next, holy moly, look at that! Roy takes DIY. This is the biggest piece of driftwood I've ever seen. To a whole new level. You built this jetty as well, did you guys?
Yep.
Haggerstone Island is surrounded by pristine waters and untouched coral reefs. It's a self-sustaining paradise where the Turner family have been living off the grid for 3 decades. They either catch or grow most of the food for their family table. It's actually quite exciting, isn't it? Because you can just see, I mean, the birds are hungry, the tuna are hungry, we're hungry. Oh, yep. Gotcha. Holy moly, look at that. See? It's easy. Look at this. Anna and Roy have a 99-year lease on Haggerstone, and they've created a home that's equal parts Island Luxe and Safari Lodge. The current family home is a couple of modest buildings. Like everything here, they were designed and built by Roy and are open to the cool island breezes. Well, that's it.
Yeah, that's schoolroom, old schoolroom, which is now Tasha's bedroom.
Yep.
Pottery down below, my pottery.
Yep.
And Roy and I now live over here.
Beautifully tucked behind some shady trees.
Yeah.
Well
That's
planned.
a really cool building with a lovely breeze, just goes straight through it.
Everything on Haggerstone is recycled or repurposed. Anna even makes her own crockery.
Up you.
Thank you. Very nice indeed. That's the kiln there.
Yeah.
That's the spot where you recreate that sexy scene from Ghost, obviously.
We've got stuff in all different stages here, actually.
And this is just you. You do this all yourself.
Yeah.
It sort of fits in with you living on the island, though, doesn't it? Making your own stuff.
Yeah.
This island just sort of runs on itself, doesn't it?
Most things have been used 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
In different stages, yeah.
I'm staying in one of the guest cottages, and mine just happens to be the biggest and most luxurious building on the island. It's a spacious two-bedder built by Roy, using tons of concrete that he had to hand mix in a bucket. No equipment here to help. The building reflects Roy's mantra of clever, upcycled resourcefulness. Look at this. This is the biggest piece of driftwood I've ever seen. Apparently, Roy found this bad boy out at sea and dragged it in with his boat and was sort of wondering, I don't know what to do with it. And then he thought, oh no, I'll build another house. Look at that. Roy and Anna's home on Haggerstone has been a real eye-opener. So you built this jetty as well, did you guys?
Yep. Oh, Roy did the jetty.
Every single structure on the island has been built by this adventurous family, and it's all in perfect harmony with the environment. Oh, you get used to this sort of lifestyle, hey?
You couldn't have wished for a better spot to have a crack at being Robinson Crusoe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was, to me, it was the most exciting thing in my life. I just couldn't wait. I wanted to build everything in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This is so priceless because of its location. As one English guest said, your backyard's bigger than the south of England.
Wow.
And it's true, without anybody in it.
Yeah. That's incredible. Oh, look at that sun. Look at that. The Turners have created the ultimate off-the-grid home. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but they have no plans of returning to the mainland anytime soon. Next time on Unreal Estate...
The ultimate fantasy homes.
This was not what I was expecting.
Australia's real estate agent to Chinese billionaires.
You realise you're wearing a house deposit?
Dazzling penthouse living. This is going to be the blingiest bathroom I've ever been in. And the astonishing home that floats above its neighbours. How does this thing stay up?